streets, motherfucker.
Hi, Darth Brody is here, and today I'm going to be talking about Kakegurui. Now, if you guys haven't heard of this anime, it is available on Netflix. It has 2 seasons, and kind of wanted to talk about that because the second season has just released this Thursday, which is, a few days ago, and I basically wanted to kind of talk about the first season and what I really liked, and then the second season, which let's just say you'll find out a little bit later in this review. So let's move on. So Kakegurui is an gambling anime. It is basically a school that revels off gambling. Everything is revolving around gambling. So you have students who basically gamble away their lives, money, everything, and once they're in debt, they basically are treated like complete trash. Basically the boys being called dogs and the women being called mittens or cats. So it's kind of like this perception that a good gambler, it has a higher status in this school. And yes, I understand this is pretty ridiculous. How could this be fun? But it's kind of the same feeling as like Food Wars or things like that, where like the spectacle is awesome, it's exciting, it's fun. It's a little bit darker than I'd say Food Wars, where Food Wars is more accessible to the average fan base, but this is a little bit out there, so I like to throw that into the perspective. So the plot of season 1 was basically that there was this girl, and she basically came to this school and kind of just started tearing things up. And her name was Yumiko Jabami. Yumiko Jabami. This girl's name was Yumiko Jabami. She comes in and she kind of seems like this naive character. Like, people think, oh, she has really deep pockets and we'll be able to, take all our money. But slowly you find out that this character is a gambling genius. I don't know what other way to say it. She completely destroys the competition. She's infatuated by gambling, almost to the point of being sexually aroused by gambling. And that's kind of where like I draw the common themes from like Food Wars or this. They have this similar feeling where like food and gambling have a similar connotation in the way that this anime feels like. So she's basically crazy. She doesn't care about money, and she's doing it all just for fun, basically. Even though all these other people throughout the series are trying to cheat and trying to gain status or trying to build up their clout at this gambling school, and she clearly does not care about any of that, which makes her such an interesting character in comparison, because her motivation is just literally to have fun and gamble because that's what she loves. And it's fun. It's a cool thrill. Some of the gambling is really fun. Everything from regular card games like to more extreme types of gambling that, it seemingly is risking their lives, or, it's anime. So you can just take a few ideas from other anime that and just kind of apply it to this and understand that like they do some anime shit here, like where it's like over the top crazy. I mean, this is supposed to be a high school. So anyways, it's fun. And the first season is really interesting, leading up to, our main character, Yumiko, basically gambling against the president, which that was her goal the whole time. And it's fun. It's enjoyable. And I really enjoyed season 1. Then season 2 came out, and I just finished it. I know, It's only been a couple days, but let's be honest here. I binge watch anime, so it is the way it is. Season 2's plot ultimately revolves around the president of the school deciding that she wants to step down as president, and the election for the next president is basically going to be a gambling contest. And for me, I was like, okay, like, let's see where this goes. That's crazy. It's kind of a little bit maybe too out there for this anime, but I was like, all right, let's sit down, let's find out. So basically, the power of whoever wins the power of the school, I guess is like more powerful outside in the outside world. What for some reason this school has so much value to it. I don't really understand. It doesn't really make sense. But basically, the president puts up her seat as president of the school, and a bunch of other people from the Momobami clan decide to try to win this gambling. And each student gets one chip, which is one vote, and then slowly other students start gambling for that vote. Once you have the most amount of votes, you win until the final showdown. So basically, that's kind of the plot. And this rival family is trying to win it back from, this president character who they think is crazy. They basically, that's kind of where like the plot kind of goes from there. And without spoiling anything, for people that do want to watch it or check it out, I just thought the big thing about season 2 is that the gambles, the actual games played in each episode, instead of it being some normal card games, and there was a few that were actually pretty cool and interesting, and or being like super interesting, I kind of felt that they went away from Yumiko's character, and they kind of gave a lot of like light to these other characters, which fine, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with giving other characters, a story and building them up. But I kind of felt that we lasted through this whole first season to build up Yumiko, and in the second season, they didn't really do much. She just felt like she wasn't the center of attention in season 2, which kind of sucked because she was the most interesting, compelling character. Her character wasn't ruled by the chains of this world, these people trying to build up their status. She was never ruled by that, and I thought that was actually really awesome. It was like basically putting the Joker into an anime, and like in the Joker being a hero, like it didn't make sense, but it was cool because it was different. In the second season, everyone just has their motivations. There was way less, like one of the things in season 1 that was really fun is like people would do whatever it takes to win, which meant they would cheat, or try to. And ultimately, Yumiko most of the time catches them on their cheat, and that's really the fun, when she basically figures out what they're doing and completely twists it against them to make them completely fail. And it's so amazing, where season 2 really doesn't have that. There's a few points where like they kind of figure some things out, and it was really cool, but most of the time I was a little bit disappointed in season 2, and even with like the outcome, which again I won't spoil, I just wasn't as excited with season 2. Now, at first, the other criticism I have about season 2 compared to season 1 is, even though it's the same studio, it was Studio Mappa, M-A-P-P-A, and it was 12 episodes the first season. The second season was done by the same studio and was also 12 episodes for Netflix. So I thought the quality should be similar. Well, for some reason, season 2 just doesn't look as good. I don't know what it is, but the character designs are generally the same, but with less detail. There's certain points, especially with Yumiko, that I was like, wait a second. This doesn't look like the same character. This looks like a different character, and I kind of just didn't dig it. I think that it felt like the first season had a lot more effort put into it, and the second season was just not as good. And they didn't put as much effort into the animation. And that's, you know what, like, hey, maybe there was budget constraints, maybe there was other issues, who knows, but all I know is it just didn't look as good. And maybe that's just me. Maybe I just thought that the first season looked better than it was, and I went through some of the episodes, and I still feel that I am justified in that criticism of season 2. But overall, the series is actually pretty fun to watch. I absolutely say that season 1 is a great watch, especially if you have Netflix and you like anime. Why not try it out? What do you have to lose? And it's not for everyone, because it's not an action anime. It's, like I said, more like Food Wars, a little more darker and a little bit more crazier, but very similar to that. And if that's not your style, probably a pass for you. Season 2, it's still good. If you like season 1, you might as well watch season 2. I just have to say that I think season 1, I would probably give a 7 out of 10. I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. I really was curious on how she would solve these mysteries of how these other students were playing their game and figuring out the way to win. I was really interested. Whereas in season 2, I felt that they lost focus, and I would probably give it a 5 out of 10. It's average. I think the fun of the first season wasn't necessarily in the second season, and I really think that's something to take a look at. If you watch the series, you'll know what I mean when you get through it. You'll see some points where your favorite character is just kind of there for the ride, and that's not very fun, but still entertaining. Like I said, average. 5 is an average, 7 is good. It's not a 10 out of 10 show. I'm sorry, like, not every show is a 10 out of 10 or a 1 out of 10. And I think that I'm pretty fair to evaluate these 2 seasons separately because of that. Either way, I'm Darth Brodius. This was my review on Kakegurui. And so if you like the review, or like the show, or seen the show, or want to see the show, comment down below and let me know what you think, or what else you want to talk about, as well as maybe like and subscribe if you want more anime reviews, or even have any suggestions of other animes I should review. Either way, thanks for watching, and have a great day.